God is good. Um, so I want to go back to this and read this again because this particular verse, um, I think I've read it in here before, but it's a book out of it's a verse out of Hebrews, and it goes Hebrews 11:11 says, "It was by faith that even Sarah was able to have a child, though she was barren and was too old. She believed that God would keep His promise, and so a whole nation came from this one man who was as good as dead." A nation with so many people that, like the stars in the sky and the sand on the seashore, there's no way to count them. And today, I am just so grateful for God's promise. Um, I would have shared with y'all my story last week about me going to like just trying to get my visa sorted out and having to go to the courts and seeing like all those young men and trying to pray for them while I was in court and so on and so forth. And I had gone and I had submitted my documents back, and you know I I was supposed to go to this thing for my job this weekend, this event, Art Basel in Florida. And I haven't been to it in many years, but this is one of like the catalysts to make me go and get my visa. And I told my boss, I was like, I don't think I can be able to make it. I haven't heard back from the embassy, blah 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 blah. And he reminded me of something. He was like, for all this preaching and all this thing I'm used to be doing, you seem like the person with the least faith in this office. And that like slapped me in my face. Because I was like, he just caught me off guard with that one, because I realized that, I would speak to people about God and I would share a lot of things about God. But then there were certain things that I wasn't submitting to God. Like I still had doubts in my mind, like, if this was going to happen, and you know what I mean? And I told him, all I said to him was, I was like, you know what? You're right. You were right. You know, I had to just accept that which was true. He was right. You know, I did have lack of faith in that instance because I just assumed that it was impossible. And lo and behold, to the glory of God, yesterday, I was just in my office, getting ready actually to pack up and leave because my son wasn't feeling too well. And I got a phone call. It was the embassy, and they was like, "Hey, we need you to come in first thing tomorrow morning. We got your visa sorted out. You straight." And I was like, "Well, mother sec." Like, where, like, I the time frame between when I said that, like when I decided to just submit everything to God and Him actually doing it was so fast that, it literally spin my head, you know? Like this could, and then I thought to myself, I was like, this could have been probably done days ago, you know? So I just wanted to share that, that praise report because, God is just truly an amazing God, and when you submit to Him and when like, because I doubt it. I ain't gonna sit there and be a hypocrite and lie or nothing about that. I doubted. I was like, I probably won't get this. When I looked at my police record and my criminal record and stuff, I was like, ain't no way I can get this. But God had a different plan, and He gave it to me, and it was just a reminder that even small wins count, y'all, and once we have faith, God has just worked things out for the best. He's do it, like this verse in Hebrews said. It was by faith that even Sarah was able to have a child, though she was barren and was too old. You know what I mean? Like the, they tell us clear as day, say, though she was barren and was too old. Though she was barren, that means that like she couldn't have children. You see what I'm saying? Like they tell us that he does the impossible, because they clearly said she was barren and too old to have a child. Meaning like yes, she couldn't have children. She was barren. But God birthed many, 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 many nations out of that. Literally the impossible. Because like he said again here, and so a whole nation came from one man who was as good as dead. A nation with so many people that like the stars in the sky and the sand on the seashore, there's no way to count them. Like they say he was as good as dead. You could imagine the people who would have been looking at him back then, looking at Abraham and saying, "This ain't no way in the world you could have no children. You telling people but your wife pregnant? That's impossible." They already probably counted him out. They, like don't never let nobody count you out. Don't never let nobody count you out. Because what God have for you, like I always just tell you, whether it be between two mountains or two lips, He have that for you, and that's yours. That written in your book before you even was born, before you was created. God had that made for you. Claim it, own it. And our faith is what ties us to that destiny. Whatever it is, what His promise is for us. Our faith that He can remain faithful to His promise is what makes with what brings our destiny into fruition. And I just really wanted to share that story and just mention that to y'all. Thank you again, and I love each and every one of y'all. Have an amazing day. I'm Kerry, and I relinquish him.